How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I am your host as always. I'm using this podcast to document my journey in real estate and business while also talking a little bit about travel hacking and personal finance. You can find me everywhere on social media at Figuring It Out Finance, on TikTok and Instagram, where I post daily about what I'm doing. And then you can find me everywhere on figuringitoutfinance.com, where you'll find all the links to the podcast and all those social media links as well. This is episode 118. And we're going to be talking a little bit about not taking the easy job and what I mean by that. But first, let's get to some updates on where I'm at. So, missed last Friday's podcast. Super busy throughout the day, running around. Had to pick up keys from properties. Was out for pretty much all day, trying to get my one flip sold. So, just was that bugged me so much because I like the discipline of just being able to do it, because that's one thing where you're just, it's like, let's get the reps. So that's, it didn't feel good missing that. So that's why I'm doing this one. We still do 2 a week, and I'm actually planning on changing the name of the podcast. So, still working on that, building it all out. But let's talk about those flips. So we actually sold one yesterday. So that's one that was 7.5 months, that whole renovation process. And I've talked about all the lessons I've learned. I've talked about it multiple podcasts, and you can go listen back to those. Episode 115 talks about some of the hard lessons I learned. So definitely go back and listen to that, because they're definitely good ones. It was a battle from beginning to end on that flip, but finally got it sold, got it off the books, paid off some private lenders, and now really focusing forward. Started renovating another property that I bought. The tenant finally left. So he was only in there for about a month, so that's getting going right now. Demo is getting started, so good news there. Money's rolling back in. And then the duplex flip, so that one is just about complete. Planning to have it on the market here within the next week or two, so stay tuned for that. And I actually just posted an update today about what we're doing with the yard, so go check that out. Everything on the inside and the outside is done, just getting that yard checked out, pouring some concrete, and we're going to be able to get that sucker on the market within a week. So check out Instagram and TikTok for all of those pictures. And then under contract to purchase another property by the end of the month. So waiting for all those signatures to come in, since it was a probate thing. So waiting on that one to be able to close on it, since we got the funds rolled in. We're good to go pretty much whenever they are. And then this one has been another headache, another thorn in my side. So going through an eviction right now. So the first one, or the one we got the guy out of and started renovation, that was he worked with us super well, but this eviction is just a beast. And, it shouldn't be as complicated as it is, but from where we started at, we just didn't have the right documentation for this flip. For the property to be able to show the magistrate and have a clear breakdown. So we have that now. The problem is, they pushed it out 2 weeks. So we're like, yes, today I just got back from being out on the road. I'm like, man, this is going to be, it's like, finally, we'll actually have something rolled in, because the person in the building isn't even a tenant. They're actually squatting and trespassing. So because they're not on any lease, and man, that's a whole story. But I want to make sure I have that story beginning to end and be able to tell it from beginning to end on another podcast. So just keep tuning in, because I'm going to be able to break that one down and, learned a ton on it. Still not over. We got it pushed out another week and a half. So hopefully by episode, let's see, 119, episode 121, we should have a full answer on what is going to happen with that property. So make sure you tune into that. But let's hop into today's topic. So it is a little confusing about what I mean by the title of this podcast, Don't Take the Easy Job. So I actually started a new book called Profit First today, or within the past couple days, and it had a really, really good quote in there. And I'm like, I don't think this is exactly how he applied it, but he's talking about businesses and how they're not taking the profit first. So all these entrepreneurs, they're striving to do this and build and grow, and it's for the money to be able to come in. But the problem is, they're not managing the money. They're not paying themselves. So I'm just in the beginning of the book, but one of those quotes really stuck out to me, and it was, money may be easy, but what about the cost to do it all? So that really stuck with me. So I'm going to read that a little bit slower. So money may be easy, but what about the cost to do it all? So for me, the first thing that popped into my head was, do not take the easy job, the easy money, because, there were multiple different things in college that kind of came out to this, because, I was with a bunch of roommates. I was with a bunch of easy college kids, or not easy college kids, but college kids, just trying to do something super easy and be able to make a little bit of money. And they said, oh man, this job's super easy. And now that I'm an adult and meeting other people that are my age, working full time now, I hear it's like, yeah, it's such an easy job. And then they follow it up with, man, I'm just bored out of my mind. So being able to get stuck in that easy job, you're not going to be able to reach your full potential as a person and income. So tying it to the money mainly, yes, it's an easy job. Yes, a paycheck is going to be coming in, but you're going to be wanting to leave that as soon as you possibly can. You're not going to be challenged in that role, in that opportunity. And, that was the big thing in my first job. I would walk into the office, I don't know how many days. I would say, let's just say we worked 20 days a month. I would probably walk in 19 out of those 20 days, open up my laptop at 8:30 and be done, and have to sit there till 4:30, 5 o'clock. And it was just agonizing. And it was it was the easiest thing you could ever think of, but it was so boring. Just absolutely nothing to do. Just like, hey, do you have anything for me to do? No, I don't. Everybody was trying to look busier than the other person, but that's one of those things. It was really easy in the office, and then it would get a little bit crazy. But I kept thinking, I'm like, this is a super easy job that anybody would want to take. And then same working through college, somebody would just want to take having to do a little bit of administrative work for, the $7.25 an hour. And, they would have to sit there just bored out of their minds for 2 or 3 hours. They'd earn a little bit of money. And my idea was, I would rather work a sports game that's 3 or 4 hours, and I work that, or I'm out there for 5 or 6 hours and I knock out a couple, get some more money in that those people are working, 3-4 times a week for. So I was able to do that, and then I was able to coach pole vault and do all those things. And those were not easy, because that time really started to add up. And, being able to not take that easiest job that I could possibly find and just, have a little bit of money coming in, that was, I think, something that really set me apart. And, because I was working 3 different jobs on top of being a student and then being an athlete in track. And, most people, they wouldn't work. So it's like they're, just taking the easiest route possible. And, moving into adult life, just being able to take that easiest route, the money may be easy, but what about the cost to do it all? So for people working a normal W-2 job, maybe they got into it because they thought it was a really easy job. Maybe they're in there now, and then they get stuck and tied to the golden handcuffs because they can't leave. So would you rather challenge yourself Or, just have that constant paycheck coming in and, not have the potential to earn more? Or would you rather do something a little bit more difficult and then that lead you to, greater heights, more money, more income, and then being able to live the life you want to live? And that's where I really see the separation now, talking to a lot of the people my age, because, there are a couple people that I listen to podcasts that are younger like me, around the 25, 26, maybe even a little younger, and, buying tons of real estate, going after it. But I see a lot of other people coming out of college and, just trying to take that easy job. There's not a whole lot of people going out and doing those bigger things, trying to make a ton of money until you meet that odd person out of it. And that's where, it's a lot of work. So for me, I talked about the role I was in already at the racing series, just pretty much doing nothing, super boring. There wasn't really any work to do. Then I moved into a sales role and I'm like, man, this is really just a lot of clicking a button on an email. It's not really sales. If you get your systems and processes done right, you hire somebody for, 40 or 50K a year, your business is going to be able to grow really, really easy. So now what I'm doing is real estate. So when I quit, I'm like, man, yeah, this is going to be, there are some easy things to do, but it requires so much learning and then so much growth that it's just not an easy job. And people get into wholesaling because they think it's easy. Oh, just call people, do this. But they don't know about the negotiation that it takes to get really, really good at talking to people, how to lead the conversation, how to get a sale from a potential seller, how do you even talk to agents about getting something under contract for subject to, which is what I'm doing now. And all of that studying that somebody would say is, maybe too hard or too boring, that's what I put in, and that's what's going to be able to pay off here in the future. So that was my takeaway on it. Some people may be able to relate to it. Some people may not. But that's what popped into my head. And I'm like, man, what about all those people, just kind of taking that easy job in life? And are they even being stimulated enough to do something about it? Because that pain is what creates the creativity to want something more and moves people into the direction of real estate, which it did for me. I'm like, I could be earning a lot more money somewhere else. It's like I might as well just take that risk. So I'm going to leave you there, and I'll be back on this Friday for episode number 119. But thank you for tuning in. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and you're listening to the Figuring It Out Finance Podcast.